the 2023 general elections gathers momentum, a lot is expected from the candidates both at the state and national level. For us in Edo State, we are ready to meet with our candidates to take us through their journey on areas of change. So join me on this journey as I meet the candidates to take us through their desired areas of change. This is Who is Talking with Adesuwa Lato. Hello. It's a maiden edition of the program Meet the Candidate. On the program, we're talking with Adesuwa Lato. I am here with the Edo South Central District candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Honorable Matthew Iduoriyekemwen. Good evening, sir. Good to have you on the show. It's my real honor and privilege, sir.
It's my pleasure
nice
to be with you
to have you as the first candidate to be on the program.
Because I'm always the first. Anyway.
Yes, sir. You're always the first.
Yes,
All right, sir. So, talking about your antecedent, like you have been there in Edo politics for a very long time, since 1999, if I'm not mistaken. All right, sir. You have been you were the majority leader at the State House of Assembly, and you were also the commissioner of NDDC at one time in Edo State. All right, so judging by those antecedents, we understand that the records are there. You've had your developmental strides in all of these offices you have been to. So right now we are talking about the Edo South Central District. You've emerged the candidate of your party. Once again, congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, so can you tell us what we are looking up to, like from you at the Central District when you get there?
Well, first and foremost, I have to thank you for finding me worthy to be in your program. Like
thank you so much, sir.
You said my name is Matthew Iduoriyekemwen. A former member of the Edo State House of Assembly, like you rightly said. I was majority leader between 1999 and 2003. I was the Edo State representative, also the board of NDDC, and I've been there on the political space in Edo State for a very long time. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I want to commend the members of my party who saw me fit and proper through the primaries to be the flag bearer of the party. Because the country, like I said during my campaign, is entering a new chapter in the democratic process.
Okay.
We're going to have a brand new president.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have a different kind of politics from what has been played before. And like I was saying to them while I was campaigning, we're going to have a brand new president. The country Nigeria as it is today, we all know that the country is at the point of near total collapse. Nothing is working.
Yes.
Quality of life is at the lowest since I was born. And everything that was promised us by this administration, we have never seen anything fulfilled.
Absolutely.
And in this kind of situation, like they always say that a desperate sickness needs a desperate cure. Therefore, PDP know that the task of rescuing Nigeria, because right now, we have to have a Nigeria first before taking off other things. And to have a Nigeria first, you need people that have the experience, people that have the experience not just politically, in all aspects. Atiku Abubakar is a man that has been through almost all the aspects or facets of life in Nigeria. He has served in the country first in the civil service. He's been, since 1999, he was a vice president in the business world. He has done well. He has a lot of friends and business associates that will also join in bringing Nigeria and repositioning Nigeria back on the path of development.
On the right
Yes, the country started making progress in 1999, strengthening the progress between 2007 to around 2015, and then the country now entered a back drive. And the back drive has like taken us further than where we were coming from. So you need somebody who has been part of the processes. You need somebody who has seen it all, who know what it means to succeed, who know what it means to make progress, who know what it means to develop properly in the right direction. And when you've gotten such a person, you also need someone who has gotten that experience over the years. In terms of experience, you know that I've been here since 1999.
Yes, sir.
I've been in the legislature. I would say that we were the foremost parliamentarians that heralded in this new democratic order. Therefore, the business of legislation in the new Nigeria is not strange to people like us.
Yeah, because you have been there.
We have to get back this country first, like you said, you mentioned just now.
Yes.
On the side of security.
It's absolutely down.
Between 1999 and 2007 till like 2015, it was fun and pleasure to drive
through Nigeria,
to travel from one part of the country
to another.
But you know that today, if you want to go on a journey by the road to any part of this country, it's like a death wish. And government has consistently tried with all the things they've tried to do with their security architecture. What we continue to hear are stories of war.
Improvement.
There is no improvement. And in the area of the economy, I don't know what English anybody will speak to tell you whether the economy is doing well. I will say the economy is doing well when I say that the average Nigerian can afford, without pain, the basic necessities of life.
Basic necessities.
You can afford food. You can afford clothing, you can afford shelter. Then you can decide to undergo any kind of medical treatment or care at the minimal cost. You can send your children to school without it being a pain on you.
Or a burden.
When that is happening, you don't need anybody to tell you whether the country is doing well or not. But when that is not happening, there is no language you are going to speak to anybody.
So as it is, we do not have that in the country.
As it is, you and I know that the average Nigerian, even their salaries, can't even take them
at all
for a quarter of the month. Forget about healthcare, forget about education. The quality of life in Nigeria now since 2015 to date is nothing to write home about.
It's a very terrible situation.
And then we have people in Parliament. We have people at the National Assembly who, I was watching them a few days ago.
I was going to come to that. They carried out a protest.
Carrying out a protest.
Yes, some senators.
Why would you carry out a protest when the rain has fallen, the rain is
but those senators are from your party.
Yes, they are from my party, but what I'm saying is that they are crying too late.
Okay.
This should have been something that they would have done
out before now.
Long before now. This government doesn't have up to a year in office.
Yeah. It's rather too late.
What exactly do you intend to create by way of impact?
Yeah.
You've only just shown to Nigeria what every Nigerian had been expecting, that this government is not doing well. Therefore, in the new order, you need new people in Parliament who will be able to reason along with the new government to reposition Nigeria to the way Nigeria ought to be. First and foremost, we must first of all put the country Nigeria together to be sure that we have a country called Nigeria. Right now, the country is near complete disintegration.
Yes, sir.
You are having what you now have, ethnic militias. Everybody now wants to be on their own. It's like a situation where we are saying, oh, every man to himself, but God for us all. I was seeing on video like this morning, somebody was showing to me that, oh, one of the ex-agitators in the South was going on the street with his people all armed in a country where there is government and there is rule of law.
Wow.
Then you are seen in a country where bandits go to the prison to release their people.
Release them.
Bandits attack the military on the way.
In the country.
And I also saw a video of a soldier who was complaining that they are carrying arms, but they do not have the authority to
use them
attack.
For their defense.
So we are in a state where, like I said,
and even the attack
now,
on soldiers.
Yes, we're in a place where I'll say that every Nigerian is now sleeping with one eye closed. Therefore, we need to reassure Nigerians. We need Nigerians to feel that sense of security back home.
Absolutely.
Because they usually say east, west, north, south. No matter where you go outside of this country, Nigeria remains our country. For so many of us, this is the only country that we know. This is the only country that we have. And the only way that we can make our impact felt is to strive to be part of the decision-making in this country.
All right, so in view of what you just talked about, your party's presidential candidate in the person of Atiku Abubakar, now we are aware that there is another party, who came up with their candidate. And as it is, it's a movement for them. They call it the OB movement. You're aware of that, sir? So do you think that PDP stand a chance with so much love and move for this man?
What I see in the obedience, I don't know how they call it, obedience or obedience, is what I would call like the social media theoretical hype. Because the issue of governance is not limited to theories that people just come to try to bamboozle you. I take, for instance, you need to look at the candidates individually. There is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There is Atiku Abubakar. There is Peter Obi. There are some other ones. But let's look at these ones that we see. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, first and foremost, on his own, is having issues with, starting from his choice of his running mate.
Yeah, that's a big one.
He did not look at the sensitivity of this country as a multi-religious country that has two major religions.
Yeah.
And try to forget that Christians exist in Nigeria.
Sidelined.
And then he's having issues with even his own people saying, the man says he's about 70 years, and someone, even his in-law is coming out to say the other day that I am 76 or 77, and I've always called this man uncle because he's married to my cousin. This man is about 86 years old. So we must first of all see sincerity. And I don't think that he has the mental capacity for the now to govern Nigeria.
Doesn't seem like he has that.
So I don't think he has that. And he's part of the processes that put us where we are. So anybody that's thinking of, voting for Bola Tinubu is like reinforcing a system that has already failed, that has led to our collapse, and you want to reinforce it.
You want to reinforce it. You want to
so I don't see that as an issue. Then on the issue of Peter Obi, yes. Peter Obi was the vice presidential candidate of the PDP 4 years ago. But then this is a matter that you also have to look at. This is a man that, as far as I'm concerned, that is hypocritical in his approach. This is a man that will come out to tell you, oh, I have only 2 pairs of shoes. I have 2 wristwatches. You and I know that is not correct. Because if you look at his pictures, you find out that you can identify more than 10 wristwatches in different photographs that he has taken. And then he comes to tell you, oh, I fly economy. But that's not correct. Personally, I've flown Virgin Atlantic with Peter Obi when he was governor in the upper class. But the mere fact that you want to pretend to say, oh, I am part of the poor, doesn't make you one of them.
One of them. Okay.
So, I'll say that what Peter Obi is doing is what is
that is strategy?
Yes, that strategy is like the students' union kind of strategy. When you see students agitating, calling other students to go on a riot and all that, they tell them things that look theoretically possible, but realistically unpracticable.
Okay.
Now, Peter Obi was the governor of Anambra State. First and foremost, let him point to Nigeria that I became the governor of Anambra State. At this point, this is where I met Anambra State, and this is where I took Anambra State to.
Sure.
I'm not a member of ABGA. I was never a member of ABGA, but this was a man that Ojukwu handed over ABGA to. He put his successor. He abandoned them. He moved to the PDP. From the PDP now, why could he not struggle to get the ticket in the PDP? He saw that he didn't stand a chance to compete.
Left.
He moved again to another party. That is a nomadic politician. Nomadic politicians do not have a specified ideology.
Okay.
So the young children who do not know anything, who cannot ask questions beyond the veil, who just say, oh, obedience, 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 because he says things that they like to hear. But look at, this is Nigeria.
Yeah.
What has he offered, and what does he need to showcase? We should not be discussing the individuals, like I always tell my people. Let us begin to discuss the issues that we have at hand.
Okay.
Who can unify this country right now? Because right now the country is in a state where everybody is on his own. That's one. Two, the country do not lack technocrats. The country do not lack ideologists. What the country lack right now is leadership. A leader is that person who is able to assemble every aspect of the country, know who among the technocrats to identify, who among the philosophers to identify at the different times, to pull them together to achieve the goal of taking us to the next place. If not, if we're looking for people like that can talk theories to us, you don't need a Peter Obi now. You go and pick some lecturers from some university. You go and pick the former deputy governor in CBN, Mogalu them. You bring them up, and then you say, let's go with them. Those are people that will tell you things that are theoretically possible, but practically impossible to achieve. You need somebody who can unite this country. You need somebody whose interest cuts across the entire country. Like I wrote in the platform where I belong today, we do not need sectional representatives. We need a Nigerian president. Nigeria has gone beyond the point of saying, oh, it's turn by turn. North rule, South rule, West rule, East rule. Nigeria, at now, should think of capacity. What do we lack now? We lack leadership. And people are talking about the age of people like Atiku. Atiku is about 70 or thereabouts. And I said, how old was Donald Trump? How old is Joe Biden? What those people are providing and offering is leadership. But how old is the British Prime Minister? That is what people move the vote of no confidence in, that just resigned recently. So it is not that man, it is not your age, it is the fact that you have the capacity to produce leadership, provide leadership, that all Nigerians will respect and look at you. That was what Obasanjo provided. Obasanjo provided leadership, so everybody was deferring to him and calling him Baba, Baba, and he was working and he picked the right persons to work with. So what we need now is a leader who can put Nigerians together and galvanize all of us to work and take Nigeria out of where we are now and put us back on the path of progress. That is where Atiku stands taller than every other person in the race as of today. Atiku, yes, is from the northeast. He's been married to his wife. I know she's Yoruba. And I know he had a wife from the East, and he has business interests all over Nigeria.
Yeah.
Therefore, he's going to fight. How old is Atiku? So amassing any wealth for himself now, beyond now, is not the most important thing, because he already has enough. But it is putting this country so that the country that he would see and hand over to the next generation will be a country that will guarantee that whatever everybody has in this country grows and develops within this country.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, sir. So you've well said. With all you've said is a very clear indication that you would indeed represent the people of Edo South Senatorial District a great deal when given the opportunity. I would not want to say if, when given the chance to do so, based on your experiences and antecedents in the past. All right, sir, I want you to quickly talk about your party in Edo State. Recently, there were some crises, here and there about the emergence of candidates, which emanated from the list of delegates and all of that, cult issues and all. Would you just want to talk about it and summarize it for us?
Well, it's an area that I would not have loved to say anything, but considering the fact that the Court of Appeal already made it very, very clear, because anything, I didn't want to say anything that was going to be seen as pre-judicial. But now the Court of Appeal has given their ruling that the issue of delegates is purely that of a political party. It's within the domestic affairs of a political party. Therefore, it is not justiciable. It is not something that any court in the land has jurisdiction over, as it is purely within the internal affairs of the political party. I will say that, yes, for those people who were fighting those fights, I just see that there are people who, I will use the word, who are desperate for power without following the due process.
Okay.
When we were running for the primaries, yes, until Mr. President didn't now assent to the amended Electoral Act. I think they were very comfortable, because when His Excellency Governor Godwin Obaseki came into the PDP, contrary to what we're used to, when you have new persons coming into a political party, we usually do what we call harmonization. But they refused. They refused to allow the governor to even have a say in the executive and all that. They refused to allow those persons who came with the governor to be integrated into the ESCO, because according to them, their tenure was going to be for 4 years. But they have forgotten that in politics, there is no rule that is cast in stone. In politics, you continue to evolve and manage the situation as it arises. But they didn't do that, because they had ulterior motive. What they did was that while the governor was busy building the party, registering people into the party, trying to get people into the party, they were sending people to go to court. Some were even going to court as far as to Port Harcourt to get injunctions saying, restraining anybody from tampering with the list of the executive, so that there could not be a harmonization of members, in the executive. And then it came to the time for the delegate primaries. The people came, of course. The people that were sent from Abuja, the panel that was sent from Abuja, monitored the delegate congresses as it was done in all the wards. And at this time, this board didn't see anything wrong with the list, because they believed that, the statutory delegates, they had all the statutory delegates, and they never saw it as anything. It was at the point that they realized that President Buhari did not sign the amended Electoral Act, that they now started trying to pull names together. They know the rules. They know the procedures. The National Vice Chairman South of the PDP has conducted primaries in parts of this country before. And is aware that it's the National Working Committee of the party that authorizes primaries, not state chapters of the party.
Exactly.
So when they saw that they have lost they didn't have the confidence that they could get the confidence of the delegates to get votes for their own preferred candidate. On Saturday, before the primaries, the state secretary put on the aspirants platform that the primaries had been postponed to Tuesday and Wednesday of the following week.
Okay.
Now, he didn't get that directive from the national. What he wanted to do was to use that to distract people so that there's no primaries because they were not ready for it.
Wow.
Before the state chairman called us and said the primaries will still hold on
I remember.
Prescribed dates on the 22nd and on the 23rd. Because they were not ready for it, because they've already issued statement that the primaries was postponed. While we're doing the primaries, they didn't turn up at the centers. And those centers were sent to INEC. They knew the centers. Like in my local government, they knew the centers. I contributed to.
And INEC didn't come to the centers.
INEC didn't go to some of the centers because the REC was working hand in hand with them. I don't know what was his interest, but if the party had notified you of the addresses where primaries were going to hold, and you as a REC choose to go to somewhere else, you are in a frolic of your own.
Exactly.
I think what was incumbent on the party was to notify INEC, which the party did. And they didn't attend. Well, like in my own case where my primaries took place, INEC still sent a representative from Abuja.
Wow.
Because the REC was nowhere to be found. Because he has become partisan. And he conducted in ways that I feel were contrary to the oath of office that he took. How, for instance, can a REC be the one on his own writing lists, names of candidates. on an INEC those state letter-headed paper?
Which ought not to be.
Which ought not to be. There's only one window open to the party to communicate list of candidates to INEC. And that is through from the national chairman of the party to the national chairman of INEC, who will, in that order, transmit it to the various states. So they did all they had to do because, like I said, they had their own ulterior motive. But thank God the primaries went smoothly. All the primaries were recorded. They were seen. All the reports are there. The police report, the SSS report, the civil defense and all the security agencies, everybody who needed to participate saw where the primaries held. In my local government, I even heard that when they were going to do it out of the House of Rep, they went to one forest around Presco. We call it the Sambisa Forest primaries. So what address did they give to the REC?
The Sambisa Forest.
Yes, what address did they give to the REC? I want to thank God that the judiciary has made it clear because they tried to
procure... the needful.
Yes, they tried to procure some black market court orders, to maybe disturb the process. They can't stop the process. But the processes were there. It was visible to the blind.
Very visible.
And it was also audible to the deaf for all of them to witness. So I believe that we are on the path of reconciliation. We are trying to reconcile with all the reconciliables. While those who feel that they are irreconcilable, will continue to open, stretch out our hands of friendship and open our doors for them to come, because PDP remains one party, and it remains PDP is our party, and by the grace of God, we are still going to work collectively to ensure that we deliver at the next elections.
Thank you so much, sir. It's been an exciting, exclusive time with the Edo South Senatorial District candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Honorable Matthew Iduoriyekemwen. Thank you so much, sir.
It's my pleasure, Adesola.
Thanks a lot, sir. As the 2023 general elections gathers momentum, a lot is expected from the candidates both at the state and national level. For us in Edo State, we are ready to meet with our candidates to take us through their journey on areas of change. So join me on this journey as I meet the candidates to take us through their desired areas of change. This is Who is Talking with Adesuwa Lato.